Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B Plus podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one. Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Oh my God.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two. On bar.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Dummy. Yeah.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three. Lamas covers. Three-handle family Gradunzo.
Mamma mia.
And now,
Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin.
number 4, armbar.
I will never retire.
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
All right, fellow B Plus players, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. Today is Wednesday, and you know that means King of Sports Day, but this is a bonus episode because the All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing rally just happened, like literally just finished, and we're going to talk about it. So joining me to talk about it from all the way across the pond, Aqeel the Heel. How are you?
I'm great. I finally get to talk about something other than Brit Rest.
Yes. Well, we were talking, on the messenger, and I thought, why don't we just do this on the microphones instead? And I also decided to bring in our good friend from Potato and Receipt, Dan. How are you?
Wonderful, Greg, and g'day to Aqeel and to all the B Plus players. Exciting day for professional wrestling.
Yeah, would we say it's a historic day? I think that's the word that gets thrown around, right?
Yeah, well, Conrad was throwing the word historic around quite a lot in the press conference. So, spoiler alert, Conrad, the mortgage guy, was sort of one of the two gentlemen leading the way. But yeah, he mentioned the word historic several times. So I think it's a fair analysis, fair term for sure.
Yeah. Who was the other guy, by the way? Does anyone know the other guy? I think they called him Alex, but I didn't catch the full name.
Alex Alvarez, I think. I have literally no idea who he is, but that's...
I actually enjoyed them when they were introing the show and stuff, and like I felt like they had a good sense of history, they had a good sense of how to sell what was going on, which is what you want. And I was actually watching them thinking, these guys could actually make a decent announce team, potentially.
Yeah, and the analysis that they were doing pre-show, sort of touching on some of the rumors, and they really hyped up the whole press conference. I was sort of watching it probably about 10 minutes before the live actual stream of the press conference, and yeah, it was really good to have them kind of dissect what was going on. Kind of like you say, like a broadcast team on a pay-per-view or a weekly show.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Conrad personally. I think it was a bit too over the top and a bit too much like, I don't know, almost like a used car salesman as opposed to an announcer.
He is a mortgage salesman, right? Like that's what he does.
Yeah, I loved his podcasts, but his style in this didn't really. I don't know. I didn't love it.
Fair enough. I think his voice adds that little bit of that, you know, because old school wrestling always has the Southern announcers, right? So he's a modern guy who has that little bit of old school twang to his voice that makes me feel like I'm watching some wrestling, you know? And so I kind of like it. But let's get into the actual rally itself. How about that pyro?
It's good to see pyro in wrestling, to be honest.
biggest winner for All Elite Wrestling, fans of pyro, All Elite Wrestling's for you.
Absolutely. There was pyro left, right, and center, plenty to go around.
And they probably spent like half the budget of this conference on the bloody pyro. It was insane.
Yeah. It was for everyone. Like, every time someone came out, there was pyro, and then they closed it with massive, like, off the stadium, like, massive pyro. But I guess the early announcements were all the things that we already knew, all the things we expected. So, you know, SCU come out first. They're officially AEW. We already knew that. Cody comes out. I felt like there was a lot of, and I don't want to come across negative here, but a lot of lip service. Like, they said a lot of the right things, even if, you know, some of it doesn't really have much meaning. You know, the boys are all going to get paid well. You know, I mean, everyone's going to say that.
Oh, of course, they need to get off on the right foot. And, you know, the press conference was very much appealing to the fans. You know, the fans are the number one, you know, fans come first. You know, Hangman Page said that his boss was the fans. So, yeah, there was a lot of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't matter gender, right? Gender, race, religion doesn't matter. That's all. So they're saying all the right things, but I don't even know necessarily. I mean, let's talk about the big one that Brandy had, right? Women are going to get paid equally. How does that work in a wrestling context?
Yeah, see, that's really, really weird and makes no sense, because are you saying, I don't know, Britt Baker's going to make the same amount as the Young Bucks?
Yeah, there's no way, right? Like, so when you get paid in wrestling, you get paid based on how you draw. You get paid based on where you are in the card. So I don't know. Are they going to have, like, okay, if you're lower card, are they going to do it like a game of TEW? They're going to designate people into different sections. Like, you're the lower card, you're the middle card, you're the upper mid card, you're the main eventers, and we'll have a set rate for each of those. Because, like, that seems ridiculous. Like, Chris Jericho is not going to accept the same rate of pay as MJF. That's, I don't know how this, like, equality in pay like, it's a great concept in theory, but I just don't see how it works. And when you go between the genders, I mean, you would expect if they were to sign Charlotte away from WWE, for example, I'm not saying that's ever going to happen, but if it was to happen, she's going to get paid a shit ton more than, again, MJF, right?
Yeah, so I imagine the logic is the lowest paid woman is going to be paid much less than the lowest paid man, and so the highest paid woman will be paid not exactly equally, but in a similar range to what the top men are making. I think
like in a similar scale.
Yeah, exactly. I think you touched a little bit on something which I didn't like about this whole thing, is there was a lot of, and I'm going to say a very extreme word here just because it's 11 o'clock at night and I have some hot takes, but it was there was a lot of almost cult speech. There was a lot of the sort of, the stuff people knock WWE about, is just the corporate talk, WWE Universe, all this branding kind of stuff. We saw a lot of that going on, I felt, on this whole press conference. I don't know if you two felt the same way. Maybe I'm just overreacting a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know if I'd call it cult speech necessarily, but I think branding is important, and these are guys that definitely understand branding. So something that you pointed out on Twitter, Aqeel, was that they're calling them athletes, which was, is that the kind of thing you're talking about? How they're choosing certain words, like obviously elite is a big one, change the world is another one, but athletes was one that stood out, and yeah, they're sort of hammering these things home.
Yeah, I think change the world, they really tried heavily on that. I don't know, that feels icky to me. All this talk about the pay structure and everything, like, cool, whatever, that's really, really cool, it's happening, but ultimately I don't care. ultimately,
Yeah.
I just
Well,
want to
I
watch
think
the
it's
product.
good. I think it is good that it's going to drive up the price of wrestlers in general, right? Which means WWE are going to have to start looking better at what they're doing pay wise. I think it's if the idea is there's a floor and everyone has the same equal floor and the same equal roof, so they're like, this is how much we're going to pay contracts between this range, and no woman is going to get below this, and no man is going to get above this, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's okay. But yeah, as far as the branding and stuff, I think that's really important. It's sort of advertising magic, whatever you want to call it. It's the thing that gets you stuck in people's heads. It's the thing that makes you relevant, really. And the elite guys are brilliant at that kind of thing.
I think so. I think they do a really good job at the branding side of things, and they continued that very much today in some of the language, like you guys touched on, and the fans pop every time they say the word elite or change the world, and that's from
we're almost conditioned. We're almost conditioned at this point to say all elite, all elite, and that whole stuff.
Oh, for sure. Like the Bucks come out and all of a sudden everyone's doing the Be Elite chant, it's even included in their theme song, I'm pretty sure. So like you say, it's that conditioning and it's very, very clever marketing for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and they have a shirt for everything, which some people hate, some people don't like that, but I think it's great. Like they were wearing for the press conference, they're wearing shirts that say Matt and Nick Jacksonville, right? Like, when else is that shirt going to be relevant other than tonight? But, they've got a shirt for it and they're going to sell it, and they're probably going to sell a bunch of them too.
Oh, well, for sure. They sort of teased, turn up to the press conference, there'd be unique merch and all that sort of stuff. And sure enough, the SCU shirt was in the Jacksonville Jaguars colors. Obviously this Jacksonville shirt, Matt and Nick Jacksonville, again, brilliant marketing. So, very clever. I can't say anymore. I mean, the Young Bucks are the number one seller on Pro Wrestling Tees, and it shows. It shows why.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, of course, they announced Double or Nothing. We'll get to that. But first, the one thing that they announced that really, really took me by surprise, they have a deal with Oriental Wrestling Entertainment, and they're bringing in, Shima and the boys. They're bringing in the Strong Hearts. Matt Jackson messed up and called them the Good Hearts. That hurt me. It hurt me a little. I got to be honest. But maybe it's a thing. They have to call them the Good Hearts for some reason. Maybe they're like, we need to get the trademark. Maybe they're going all Vince McMahon on it. But yeah, Aqeel, OWE. Does this turn your head?
This is the thing that's got me the most excited. Strong Hearts have been the most exciting thing going on in Japan for the last year. Seema and T-Hawk have sort of reinvented themselves as part of this. And I'm sure everyone's seen the gifs floating around of the OWE lads just doing some of the most mind-blowing things I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
The other thing is, Strong Hearts are proven draws in Japan. They've raised houses in Wrestle 1, they've raised houses in DDT. They're proven commodities on a certain level. So it's really, really smart to get them involved. And also, no one else is really working with them right now. They are really free agents. So hop on that bandwagon before everyone else. That's really, really exciting. This is the one thing I think from the entire press conference I can go away and go, okay, I don't love a lot of what's going on. I feel like, for me personally, I've always felt sort of like I'm looking in from the outside on a lot of the elite stuff. I don't love BTE and all this, but I can go away and go, hey, they've got Strong Hearts, they've got SEMA, they're working with OWE. That's really, really cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, as am I. I was lucky enough to see SEMA, T-Hawk, El Lindemann, guys like that, last year when they came to Sydney, as part of the AWF Super Show. So, it's awesome that they are taking notice at talent all over the world. Brandy Rhodes even said when she came up, that they sent the net out far and wide. Herself and Cody have been traveling around, obviously Japan, Australia as well. So they're just what they're saying is they're scouting. They're on the lookout all the time. So that can only be good for fans of professional wrestling when a company like this are going to be bringing people from all over the world, hopefully, together into the one promotion so that, fans of AEW are going to see not just the best talent, on the independent scene in America, but the entire world.
Right, and so this is where the lip service stuff actually becomes, action, right? Because we know that they have, like, when Cody was out here, he was, taking the boys out for lunch, and they were joking on Twitter with Brandy, like, oh, these are business lunches, I'm scouting, right? And they knew what was going on, but we don't know. We're all like, oh, it's all elite, right? Like, it's got to be. And it turns out it is. And as soon as Brandy mentioned Australia, I was straight. I'm like, hashtag Shazza for AEW, right? Because it's a bit of a meme at this point. Shazza for Stardom, Shazza for Tokyo Joshi, Shazza for everything, essentially. So yeah, Shazza for AEW. Someone has to sign this girl, and we know that Cody and Brandy are big fans of her. So hopefully we're going to get the first Australian in AEW announcement soon.
Fingers crossed. She'd be a great fit. And she was on Twitter just like us. She was watching the live stream. She even said in her tweet she had tears in her eyes watching it, seeing Britt Baker up there, giving her inspiring little talk about how proud she was to be signed to AEW, and that really resonated with Shazza. And yeah, we heard that Shazza made a really good impression during the World Series Wrestling stuff. She's internationally traveled. She's worked a lot of the independents over in America, the top ones. She's been on NXT. This is a logical next step for her, and she definitely deserves it.
Man, I was watching the Brandy part of the announcement. I don't know if I'm the only one here. I don't think we've had this conversation, Aqeel. How do you feel about intergender wrestling?
I have very complex feelings about intergender wrestling.
All right, well, you may not like this next part, but basically, when I was watching and she came out, she's like, oh, the question I've been asked the most is, will there be a women's division? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, obviously, they've signed Britt Baker, there's clearly, and they've signed you, there's going to be a women's division. But I was half sitting there being like, I hope she says no. I hope she says that the women and men are just going to, go at it. There's no distinction. It's just athletes competing to be the best athlete. I was hoping they were going to go there. We know that here in Australia, PWA do it to great success. Chikara do it a lot. There's a lot of companies that do this, sometimes by necessity and sometimes by choice. But I was half expecting that because I feel like AEW want to push the envelope, but I guess there are lines for them.
I think what it is intergender wrestling and mainstream audience is a little bit of a touchy subject right now. I think that was one of the main reasons why Lucha Underground lost a lot of their buzz, is they really leaned hard on the intergender wrestling, and there was a bit of a backlash. So, I don't want to turn this into an intergender wrestling podcast, but I think...
No, of course, yeah.
But I think it would be a mistake to lean on that too heavily if we want to be a major player in wrestling right now.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. I was still hoping for it though, and it didn't happen. I was like, oh well, women's division, equal pay, that's nice as well. Then MJF showed up. Let's talk about the real coup here. MJF, biggest signing for All Elite Wrestling. He shows up and sort of drags Jacksonville for a while before the Jaguar shows up, and then he gets attacked by Joey Janela and Penelope Ford, who announced that they're also going to be elite. I feel like this is going to get lost in the shuffle of some of the other things that came after. But I was really stoked for this. I'm like, okay, so it looks like we're going to get MJF versus Joey Janela potentially at Double or Nothing.
This was probably my favorite part of the whole press conference, actually. I thought MJF did such a good job. He was like the stark contrast to everyone else. He came out, he played that heel role so well. As you said, he dragged Jacksonville really, really well, so much so that he drew the ire of the mascot. He just plays that role so well. Like if you watch him in MLW or CZW, he's fantastic on the microphone. And yeah, it's a great spot. I mean, Joey Janela comes out to a huge pop with Penelope Ford, also announcing they're All Elite as well, which, may have been an expected announcement, I guess, with their work on All In and stuff like that. But, yeah, it was my favorite segment of the press conference.
I enjoyed it a lot. I feel like this is where we lose Aqeel, though.
No, I'm very pro MJF. Why would I not be a big fan of MJF? He's a man of
I don't know,
heart.
Aqeel. I can never predict you.
Listen, MJF is great. MJF is the future of professional wrestling. MJF is far better than Hideki Suzuki.
See, now I know you're being sarcastic. At first, I couldn't tell if you were being sarcastic.
No,
I can never know with you. It's that dry British wit.
I'm 100% sincere. I think MJF is a great guy to have. I assume the idea with AEW is to have a TV show down the line. I think MJF is a great TV heel. He's someone that can talk. He's not great in the ring, which is a shame, but he's only been wrestling 2 or 3 years. And
yeah,
I've never seen an MJF promo where I've not enjoyed it. And I think he's a good get. Janela is another good get because he has a name value to him. Again, another guy not great in the ring, but he has something to him that can add a lot. So I'm very pro him as well. No, I'm very positive. I don't know why you think I'm so negative, Greg.
It's just all the British wrestling is dead stuff, you know. It's just what I expect. But I think that Janela as well potentially brings with him, you know, Game Changer Wrestling, right? There could be some kind of, and Game Changer Wrestling are doing crazy good things. So I know there's a lot of potential here with these guys. But yeah, as far as a TV heel, MJF, I mean, he doesn't need to be great in the ring. And like you said, he's only been doing it for a little while, but he gets all his heat back on the mic, and he'll lose a lot anyway. He's going to be a lower card guy. He's going to lose a lot, and then he's going to get his heat on the mic, and it's fantastic.
I think one other slightly interesting thing is that MJF and Janela were two guys that worked MLW quite a bit in the first couple of tapings. So it's a surprising move for them.
Yeah, definitely. The MLW guys, are they allowed to be on another TV show? So if All Elite Wrestling end up on TV, are MLW guys all of a sudden going to get pulled?
So my understanding is with the MLW contracts is you can, if you are under an MLW contract, you can work anywhere else. Sorry, I had a weird brain freeze for a second there. You can work anywhere else apart from WWE. Now,
okay,
how that changes with AEW, who knows? Everything changes now.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But let's carry on. So Hangman comes out, says that he's going to be champion, and then this is one of the big surprises that they had up their sleeve, I suppose. The RED music hits, and out comes Park with the strap, the Dragon Gate tie. I mean, Park is here. Park is all elite, and he seems to be feuding with Hangman Page.
And it's good to get that exposure with Park. You know, get him back out there. There's a lot of buzz about Park at the moment. He's been doing a few shows over in the UK. Obviously, the Dragon Gate stuff as well. He's holding the title. But yeah, look, I was quite high on him when he was in the WWE. It was a real shame when he left. To get him back on the big stage like this, with the American audience, the big eyes, you know, watching. I'm really excited for Park, and a potential rivalry with Hangman is insane.
Yeah, and what's interesting here again is that Park came out with the Dragon Gate title. Now, if AEW is working with SEMA and OWE, and they are at least friendly with Dragon Gate, by the fact that Park is holding that title. There's some interesting politics going on there because obviously SEMA had a very public split with Dragon Gate. So there's some weird things going on. It's all very, very exciting. Park is cool. I love Park. Yeah, I'm all in on this. No pun intended.
Yeah. Pun very much intended. You know that pun was intended. So, Park and Hangman, if that becomes a match for Double or Nothing, that's a marquee match. I'm really excited for that.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Christmas has come and gone, and with it, the disappointment of those Secret Santa staples, the shave kit, the sports hygiene packs, and seasonal socks is fading. As we roll on, though, into the new year, it's time to make resolutions. So why not resolve to look better in 2019 and get yourself the gift that keeps on giving and never disappoints? Threadbox. Threadbox is a subscription clothes shopping service which for as little as $40 per month will send you a box of personally curated goodies straight to your doorstep. I get the $160 package which comes with over $200 worth of fresh goodies each month. Kept me looking fly for all my Christmas engagements this year. You get to communicate with the Threadbox stylist assigned to you by email regarding what it is you need, and they will tailor the box accordingly. And in the unlikely event that you don't like what they send you, you send it back, they will replace it with something new and make note of the things you don't like so that they can avoid that kind of thing in the future. Threadbox is a truly unbelievable service that no man should be living without, so head over to threadbox.com.au today and use our code TheB+15 when you check out to get 15% off your first box. January is here and we are fast approaching WrestleMania season. Royal Rumble and the road to WrestleMania are around the corner, so the time to dilly-dally is past us. If you want to experience WrestleMania live, and who doesn't, let's be honest, you deserve it. The best and really the only way to do it is with All Aussie Travelers. All Aussie Travelers are new to the wrestling travel package game, but they are veterans at travel, and they have put together a package that cannot be beaten. For less than $7,500, All Aussie Travelers are going to send you to New York, New York, with return flights, airport transfers, full accommodation, and tickets to the WWE Hall of Fame, NXT pre-show party, NXT TakeOver, WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, and more. The coolest part about these packages is that for NXT TakeOver, Raw, and SmackDown, you are going to be seated in your own private VIP suite, normally not available to the public, but All Aussie Travelers have you covered, man. They got this locked down. It has its own bar, it has its own bathroom access, and all the luxuries that a VIP box comes with, not least of which, of course, an incredible view for everything happening in the ring. All of this for under $7,500. They're practically giving these packages away, man. You'd be crazy not to check it out. So head over to All Aussie Travelers on Facebook. The link is in the show notes. And tell them that the B Plus sent you. And let's go watch WrestleMania in style. I guess then we get the whole, so we didn't talk about Double or Nothing itself. Double or Nothing is going to take place May 25th. And that's at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, which we could have guessed from looking at the imagery, Double or Nothing, and they have a bunch of chips and neon looking stuff. So you could have guessed it's going to be in Las Vegas. But at MGM Grand, we're looking at 17,000 seats.
Yeah, and UFC runs that venue quite often, so it's a major venue.
Yeah, that's a as you pointed out, Aqeel. Yeah, it's a go-to for the big Vegas shows, the big Vegas pay-per-views. Even the boxing stuff's been done there as well. It's a big venue in terms of name value, and it also, as you say, it's up on that 11,000 as well. So they're still trying to take those big steps to get even more fans into these shows. So they're going to be going for 16,800 fans for this one.
Yeah, so it's not quite Double or Nothing, but it's 1.5.
Close enough.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a big step up, and something that's going to help, of course, is Y2J showing up at the end. Now that sort of, I think people were hoping for Kenny. You heard the crowd chanting like Kenny, but Y2J, that's huge. As he was doing his little speech, I was sitting there hoping like, oh, maybe Kenny attacks, or maybe even Pentagon attacks, right? Because at their match at All In, with Penta and Kenny, Y2J got involved. So we could see that there. No Pentagon, no Phoenix, no Lucha Brothers, no Kenny Omega, but Y2J is all in on All Elite.
What was great about this, though, was just prior to this was basically a bit of a tease where it looked like there was going to be a big announcement, and it was still a big announcement. Don't get me wrong; they're going to do a second show in Jacksonville, but they kind of said, "Oh, that's it for the moment," and it was a good little tease. And then Conrad sort of started talking about who was going to be the first world champion, and then even talking about potentially one of the Young Bucks, maybe trying to get some feedback from the crowd, and then the Judas the Fozzy song hits, and out comes Y2J, and it's crazy. I mean, as much as there's been rumors about him being involved with the AEW, to actually see him in the flesh out on the stage declaring that he was all in with All Elite was incredible, absolutely incredible.
So I think Jericho is a very, very big get for AEW, obviously. And it's surprising just because I had always assumed he's never going to work in the US for anything other than WWE.
Well, he's always said that.
Yeah, exactly. Turns out I got worked by Jericho.
Biggest surprise of them all.
Yeah.
Jericho was working. What a
He
shock.
would have known. I think it doesn't make me at all any more interested in watching AEW, if I'm completely honest.
No, myself either, to be honest. But it's big, though. It is big for the mainstream casual fan.
It's a big deal, and look, he's a guy you can put on a poster now. You can go to TV networks and go, look, Chris Jericho is this big name that we have. He's been on TV. You have heard of him. Give us TV. Again,
yeah.
That said, me personally, I honestly don't care. I don't care about 2018 Chris Jericho. I'm sorry. 29.
Really?
Yeah, I don't care. He's done.
You didn't think he had a good year? You don't think he had a good year?
He had a good year, but he had 3 matches.
I mean, look, the stuff that he did in the build and whatnot was all sort of repetitive and passé, if you will. But I feel like the matches themselves all delivered in big ways. Like he had for me, I thought it was good. I think he's performing at a higher level than most guys his age.
I think maybe I'm just a little bit grumpy today, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I quite like what Jericho is doing at the moment, to be honest. I like the stuff with the crews. He wrestled with the Bucks of Jericho. Was it Y2 Jackson? And, the stuff with New Japan as well. Attacking Kenny at All In, dressed as Penta. There was a lot of stuff to like about Jericho. And I think the thing that I like about him is that he keeps reinventing himself throughout his career. He's made a real habit of being able to reinvent himself.
Yeah.
And whether you like him or hate him, I think he's doing a phenomenal job at prolonging his career. And this is just another step. And as Aqeel pointed out, he's definitely a huge draw for a potential TV deal. Aqeel rightfully said, I think this is going to be a TV show down the line. I mean, they're obviously building to the main show for the moment, but yeah, I mean, you need draw cards, and there's not too many bigger draws in wrestling at the moment that are available than Chris Jericho.
Yeah, does this burn the bridge for him with WWE? It depends how big AEW becomes, really. If these guys end up becoming a major company, then I don't see them ever going back to WWE. If it turns out, look, Tony Khan is actually a moron and doesn't really know what he's got himself into, they run Double or Nothing and then we're over. I can see him coming back. I can see Vince just going, hey, you made some money, good for you, let's go do some stuff now, Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know, because I feel like there's just little things like, we're not just going to change the world, right? Because we talked about the way they were leaning on all the branding and stuff. And really, I feel like the way they kept hammering the change the world stuff was all setting up for his line at the end where he says, we're not just going to change the world, we're going to change the universe. Now you're stepping on WWE branding, right? You're showing up just down the road. So people that are on their way to SmackDown right now, people that are on their way to SmackDown are driving past and seeing Pyro and Chris Jericho saying, we're going to change the universe. And that's WWE branding. I feel like there were little shots fired, like little bits of antagonism that maybe Vince isn't going to be happy with. Could put Jericho on the shit list.
Yeah, I think that he won't be happy. He probably wasn't happy about the initial choice of location for the rally. Just down the road from a taping that they're doing. It is one of those things where I think that little comment at the end, Vince wouldn't be impressed. But I mean, having said that, you never say never with a lot of this stuff. I mean, water under the bridge. How long that takes, I don't know. But I think we don't need to worry about that at this point. I think it's pretty exciting stuff. And what a way to finish the press conference with Y2J coming out and confirming his involvement with All Elite.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we know that the next show is not going to be the Double or Nothing show. So they're going to do another show before that, but we have zero information about it, which was kind of baffling. They're just like, oh, we're going to do another show here in Jacksonville, but before Double or Nothing. But we're not going to tell you anything about that. Mm-hmm. And then Double or Nothing will be in May.
Sorry, do we know that second show is before Double or Nothing? Because I took our second show to mean the second AEW show, which would be after Double or Nothing.
Right.
I think it was after as well, actually.
Okay, so I've misunderstood it, you think?
I think so.
It's like you said.
That would make more sense.
There's not a lot of information going out there at the moment, so I guess we just need to wait for confirmation. But I agree with Aqeel. It kind of sounded like it was following Double or Nothing.
So we've got a second show coming after Double or Nothing. Right, because I think of the first show as All In, and I guess they're looking at Double or Nothing as the first show, which makes Double or Nothing a very confusing name. But that makes more sense if there's a show coming after, and so it's happening in Jacksonville. They're going to tell us more later. That makes more sense to me. And I guess there's other little bits and pieces flowing out through Twitter now, like Billy Gunn is apparently one of the producers. You mentioned this, Dan?
Yeah. It looked like it was just a tweet that at AE Wrestling, that Twitter handle put out. It was a little quick 1-minute grab with Billy Gunn and Cody Rhodes. There was also an awkward moment where they brought Billy's son onto the camera as well. But it was just announcing him as the solo producer at this point in time with All Elite Wrestling. So again, getting a veteran like him on board is definitely a good thing, especially from a TV show standpoint. You know, he'd have a lot of experience working the TV show with both his time on Raw and SmackDown, WWE.
Right, so we've got the biggest things, I guess. So Billy Gunn's a producer. We've got MJF, Joey Janela, Hangman Page, Park. Park has shown up, which potentially implications with Dragon Gate. They also have a relationship with OWE, a big show coming in May. Am I missing anything? It's crazy. There's a lot to digest.
Britt Baker, SCU. There's plenty to like. There's plenty to like that stuff.
Is it not interesting that they've only they made a big deal about talking about the women, but they've only announced one woman signing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, who do you announce that's going to be on that same level and get that same buzz as Pac, as Jericho? It would have been nice if they had someone here. It would have been nice, but where do you go? Who do you get? I mean, AJ Lee is probably the only person I can think of.
I don't even think it needs to be some sort of big time star. If you've got someone else signed, it just feels really weird to me that you're talking about a women's division and women's equality. Literally, I've only just thought of this now, but you're talking about all of this.
Yeah, I think we will see women heavily featured moving forward. I think that they'll be some of the next couple of announcements because they are very, just like All In was a bit of a sausage fest. They're very sausage heavy right now. So they're gonna. I imagine that the next few talent announcements will probably be building that women's division,
and hopefully internationally as well. Hopefully we do see, Australian women, UK women as well. And even Japan. There's plenty of talent out there ripe for the picking, and they've been scouting them. So hopefully, as you say, one of the upcoming announcements really soon. I mean, we're going to be drip fed information for the next couple of months, no doubt. But yeah, see some female talent to really build up that strong women's division that we've been promised by Brandy and the team.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to see a few Joshi signings, to be honest with you. Oedo Tai would be a pretty good fit, I imagine. And we know that Brandy does work in Stardom, so...
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting to think that the fact that, they've been traveling around quite a lot. Obviously we see a lot of the televised stuff with New Japan and Ring of Honor and stuff like that. But ultimately they've been doing tours here, there and everywhere. So it is exciting to think who potentially they could pull out and throw onto the AEW stage.
Yeah, so there's a lot to break down, but those are sort of our initial thoughts. Now, Aqeel, where can people find you?
So you can follow me on Twitter at Aqeel Khalid, AQEELKHALID. I want to do more podcasts this year, so you'll see me popping up in a lot of weird and wacky places. Yeah, I think that's it.
Right, and Dan?
You can catch me at P&R Wrestling on Twitter. Just search Potato and Receipt on Instagram, and I've also started using Facebook a bit more as well. So if you could search that and give that a like too, that'd be appreciated. Thanks a lot.
I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit. The B Plus Wrestling everywhere else except for Patreon, where we are the B Plus Wrestle. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. That is the best way to support us. All that money goes straight back into the show, into producing more content for you guys. There's some really cool perks there with, bonus shows early, ad-free episodes, and custom episodes, call-in shows, all that good stuff. Check out the Patreon. Give us a 5-star review if you like what we do. Like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much for listening.
Hold one. Arm drag.
You're not doing this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
So, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two. Arm bar.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it. Dummy. Hold three. The moss covered.